Eyes Radio.
Okay, now what? Recording.
Now we are recording.
Yes.
Now we're recording.
And everything looks good.
Yeah, I mean, everything's pulling up proper.
Okay.
Recording
As long
confirmed.
Recording confirmed.
as long as nothing goes red, I can compress it, and then that's when everything is the best.
We'll be good. We'll be great.
Okay. As long as Sam doesn't move his head now.
Sam's actually been pretty good. It was you that was going in the red.
Oh, I always go in the red. That's the point.
He's picking it pretty good.
Okay.
So good.
Garrett's board hopping today, so if we have any technical difficulties,
You can blame Joe.
just like the Oscars and a danger room scenario on this week's show.
You can blame Joe for all that, too.
Welcome to Three Wise Radio, a podcast where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, technology, the internet, and pretty much everything else media related. My name is Joe Greller. I am joined as usual by Garret Welker and Sam Pixley.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. You trying to throw them off their scent? What are you
Trying to
doing?
throw you off
Good
the scent.
evening.
Good evening, good morning, afternoon, whenever you choose to listen
What if,
to this podcast.
what if we said good week?
We tried that,
Yeah,
and
it's
you
dumb.
Yeah, you didn't like it. So, big news coming out before we even get into headlines. Let's just talk about it. The clusterfuck that was the Oscars last night.
I thought they were great.
I mean, it was good up until the very end. It was a little rocky at the beginning, and it was really rocky at the end. It was fine everywhere else.
So I haven't watched any of it. I know Sam has watched a little clips of it, and you rewatched it all today.
Yeah, I watched it all today.
The next day on Hulu. So with that in mind, how do you want to attack this?
Aggressively.
Aggressively?
I don't know.
Okay. So you thought? Do we think Kimmel did an okay job?
Yeah.
Let's start with that.
Yeah, I feel like he did a pretty
Yeah.
good job. I mean, like, he was able to kind of, like, he was able to focus on the task at hand with hosting, but also, like, you know, keeping, like, his jokes were, like, relevant to what's going on nowadays. You know, like, there was a little bit of political humor, but it wasn't, like...
Little bit?
There was a lot of political humor, but it wasn't, like, in-your-face political humor. It was... I felt like he did a good job of, like, keeping it to a minimum, you know?
The thing that I would do is if you were to compare political humor, which I think I watched more of early 2000s to mid 2000s. I'm totally blanking. Oscars, just to see people's intros and see people giving awards and things and how much less like focused they were on making a statement with everything. Like it was more just about the movies and things. And so I noticed so I've been comparing things a lot. And if you were to compare his intro with actually a far superior intro from the Spirit Awards, which was Nick Kroll and John Mulaney this year, they were pretty political as well, but they did it in a tasteful way that I thought was really funny. I mean, he didn't fail, but he didn't do as good of a job as, say, those two guys.
Gotcha.
So a couple of things from last night. I can't think of his name, but the guy who's been in Luke Cage, Mahershala Ali, Luke Cage, and House of Cards, he won Best Supporting Actor. Viola Davis won Best Supporting Actress. Emma Stone, Best Actress, and who won Best Actor? Casey Affleck, yeah, for
The disheveled man himself.
for who knows what, Manchester by the Sea. So I have not seen any of these movies so far. Normally I try and go on a rush to the end or whatever to see all these movies, and I have not seen one single movie of the Oscars so
I saw
far.
La La Land.
I haven't even seen that.
Right.
I was completely shut out of the Oscars. This is the first time, and I told Sam this, you had asked me 2 years ago, I wanted to be at the Oscars. I want to eventually do something that gets me nominated to go to the Oscars. Now, I'm like, I don't really want to go to the Oscars. I don't want to sit there for 3.5 to 4 hours.
3 hours and 45 minutes.
To just, yay, we're doing things. Unless, of course, Hugh Jackman hosts again. Because if Hugh Jackman hosts again, I'm in. 100%, because that was the best Oscars in the past 10 years by far.
He was probably, yeah, that's probably right. That's probably true.
The biggest, saddest thing of the night, though, Momoa did not win Best Anime Feature. And you know why it was sad? Because The Rock had, the children, and us as a humanity. The Rock promised that if they won, he was going to take cheap meals and gluttony to a whole new level.
And go to In-N-Out all the
burger,
time.
Yeah. And I was like, why? At that point, I don't care if you've already voted. You rewrite it. You rewrite it because it's great publicity, and the world wants to see The Rock eat 500 In-N-Out burgers or whatever he was going to do.
Don't you think then that makes it less about the Academy and more about stunts?
Yes.
And if the Academy,
and if anything,
if the Academy Awards is about anything, it's about
stunts.
The Academy Awards and being self-aggrandizing.
No, it's about stunts because was the ending an actual stunt?
I thought it was just a bunch of old people just messing shit up.
So the biggest talk out of the Academy Awards was that Warren Beatty, who has a track record of not being the most together person up top, read the wrong Best Picture award.
He didn't read it.
Technically, he didn't read it. He read the envelope, and he was like, mentally, he was just like, I don't think this is the right envelope. And then he like handed it to the lady he was presenting it with. She's like, yeah, this is the thing. This is what we're...
She was like, come on, Warren, La La Land. And Warren was just like, how did I get here?
That's the thing. Like, you were talking about it. It says it on the card.
It says Best Actress on the card.
Yeah.
The supposed card that they read, which
Best
was
Picture.
Emma
like,
Stone.
Someone should be like, we've got the wrong card. Like,
I think that's what he was trying to like say,
So
but he couldn't articulate it.
No,
and so...
you can't make these kind of mistakes.
You're an award-winning, not Academy Award-winning, but an award-winning director, actor, writer. You can't sit there and go, we've got the wrong card.
He's old.
I think it goes to tell you that just because you're an award-winning actor doesn't mean you're really that bright or really that gifted, Viola Davis.
Sam has a problem with the speech.
Oh yeah, I thought that was...
And the one thing he has a problem with, it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Explain.
The ordinary people.
Everybody knows what it was. Yeah, we're the only profession that celebrates what it is to live a life. Like,
No.
Guys have spent... I don't even know.
You explained a little bit better to me last night in the fact of they say we're the only profession that celebrates what it's known to live a life. Yet you're portraying other people with real problems. Look at the award you just won for Fences. That is loosely based off of
a real person.
Yeah. So you're telling me you lived life more than that person?
I think what they're was trying to say is that they celebrate life through depicting people living it.
Well, that person couldn't celebrate it. They were having a too hard of a life.
Right. But that's why it's celebrated by other better people.
Not better,
like
not
Viola
one
Davis.
So if you hit a home run and then I reenact you hitting that home run, I therefore have lived a better life because I shed light by portraying your home run.
No, it depends. Did I struggle to hit the home run?
Yes.
Was it a big deal at the time?
You won the World Series.
Oh, that's pretty good. I'll take it. She can say whatever she wants. I don't care. I'm getting a $1 million contract. I'm doing good. Hell, that just bothered me because I mean the big thing that Hollywood is always combating right now is like, no, we're not. It's the thing where we're the greatest people of all time, but also we're almost like, especially with the Meryl Streep thing, like we're also the biggest victims in the world as well. It's like you can't be both.
Yeah.
And to claim that, let's see, you can just think of professions off the top of your head that are. I mean, I'm guessing Electrician. Yep. Any of them. That would work. You're making people's lives better every day by giving them light. Not light, but brightness, whatever. Doctors, maybe. That just bothered me. It's like if you hadn't have said that, the rest of it would have been really good.
Yeah. She looked good. She had traps.
She was built looking like Serena Williams.
Yeah. Her traps, like as soon as she came up to announce or to accept, and it was just like, damn. Just like
Amanda Waller got jacked.
It's impressive.
All right.
It's very impressive.
So, speaking of Amanda Waller and Suicide Squad, we'll get into headlines this way. So, we got a good show today. Headlines. We're going to play a little game called Were They Invented in the Comic Book or Were They Not?
It's a horrible game title.
It's a horrible game title. I'll tell you what, you come up with a better game title by the time we start.
Okay.
And then we're going to do Danger Room scenarios in honor of Logan coming out this Friday. So, kind of kicking off our X-Men sweeps. And then next week we'll do some other Logan fun stuff as well as bring you the review. So with that being said, our first headline of the night is Suicide Squad, the Academy Award winning film.
Boom.
Suicide Squad. You have to actually say that now.
You don't have to.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to say anything. You could just say Meryl Streep.
But you can't say not Academy Award winning Suicide Squad.
Yes.
So you can't.
I mean,
you can't negate it.
Yeah.
It's there forever.
They won for hair and makeup.
Yeah.
So Twitter went nuts with this. So many people were like...
So upset about it?
Oh, they were so upset that the fact that this horrible DC film won for hair and makeup. And all they keep bringing up is, that Joker looked awful. That Joker looked awful.
He didn't look awful.
He didn't look awful, and there was other people that contributed
like a crocodile man.
Yes.
Harley Quinn.
My favorite, one of my favorite tweets was because after the Moonlight La La Land thing, people just kept tweeting like, "Oh, I wish this was the election that we were talking about." Yada yada yada. But my favorite one was the guy that tweeted the follow up to that. Was like, everybody's concerned about the election. I'm really wondering if Suicide Squad won that. Seems more reasonable. But yeah, I think they deserve it. I mean, what else was there?
We talked about it on the cast a few weeks ago.
Two other movies that were not.
Yeah, it was
and
probably
we
some guy in
didn't
makeup,
know
old man
Yeah.
makeup, as it
the-
usually is.
A Man Called Uwe and.
But anyway, with that in mind, I have a list of every comic book movie ever nominated and that has won Academy Awards as well. Okay, so Sam, I want you to keep tallies on this because we think Marvel has the better movie
Catalog?
the better movie catalog. All right?
Okay.
So the thing with this, it has to be published by a major publisher.
What's major to you, Joe? Who are you to judge?
It has to be a known publisher. Like, I'm not going to include The Incredibles because The Incredibles were not a comic book first, published by a major publisher. That was a Disney conception. I'm not going to include Dick Tracy because Dick Tracy was not a comic book first. It was a radio serial that turned into a comic book, everything else. So these were properties that were comic books first and then turned into movies.
Let's do it.
So the first comic book movie ever to actually win an Academy Award, 1978, Superman. Won a Special Achievement Award for visual effects. So basically it won visual effects.
Woo!
It was also nominated for sound, film editing, and score, but didn't win those. Next, you have Batman, which won art direction.
Yeah, they did go in a specific direction.
That's the first time you see that
can't argue
gothic
that.
Gotham. That is not a thing until Burton comes along.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't knock that.
Okay, next you have Batman Returns. Didn't win anything, but was nominated for visual effects and makeup.
If you didn't win,
Doesn't matter.
I'm not telling it.
We shouldn't have to. Next, you have The Mask, which is a Dark Horse comic before it was a movie.
Is Dark Horse owned by DC?
It is now, yeah.
It is now, but at the time
It is
it
now,
wasn't.
but at the time, okay, I'll put there's a question mark.
Don't worry, it didn't win. It was just nominated for
thank
visual
goodness.
effects.
Whew!
Then you have Batman Forever, was the best Batman movie ever,
That's okay.
which won for no, it didn't win. It was nominated for cinematography, best sound, and effects.
Really? Okay.
Cinematography.
Oh, when he's flying down the alleyway and goes into the chute to phase 2, yeah, cinematography.
Okay.
The club scene alone, where your entrance was good, but his was better. Oh, that entire scene it's
Magnifique.
phenomenal. Oh, I can see why cinematography did well. Anyway, next we get Marvel's first tally. Men in Black won for best makeup, which was a Marvel comic before it was actually a movie. Okay. So Men in Black gets best makeup. It was also nominated for art direction and original score.
Or is that makeup special effects?
All the aliens.
Vincent D'Onofrio. The
yeah.
entire...
I think that was just him, though. I think they were just like, Vince.
Give the man a little
Vince,
bit more credit.
Take a month, get real strung out. And you know what? I think Vincent D'Onofrio would have done it.
Probably.
You're not wrong.
2002 Spider-Man didn't win anything, but nominated for sound and visual effects. 2004, though, Spider-Man 2 won for visual effects.
That's fair.
Nominated for mixing and sound editing, but didn't win those. 2013, Batman Begins, didn't win anything, but nominated for cinematography. 2006, Superman Returns, nominated for visual effects, did not win. 2008, a lot of comic book movies were nominated. Iron Man was nominated for sound editing and visual effects, didn't win. Hellboy, which is a Dark Horse property, nominated for makeup, didn't win. But as everyone knows,
who beat them?
That's a good question. I don't know. But in 2008, The Dark Knight not only won for Best Actor, it won for sound editing.
Best supporting actor, right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Best Supporting Actor, Heath Ledger.
Bam, bam.
And sound editing. Was also, though, nominated for film editing, achievement in art direction, makeup, sound mixing, and visual effects.
Unstopped.
2010, Iron Man 2 nominated, didn't win. Best visual effects. Avengers nominated, didn't win. Best visual effects. Iron Man 3, nominated visual effects, didn't win. Captain America Winter Soldier, nominated visual effects, it did not win. X-Men finally receives a nomination for visual effects, doesn't win.
For which one?
Days of Future Past.
Oh, okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy, makeup and visual effects, didn't win either one. We have to give Marvel this one, though. Big Hero 6 won Best Animated Feature Film, was a Marvel comic before it was a movie. And then this year, you, of course, have Suicide Squad, which won hair and makeup, And Doctor Strange was also nominated once again for visual effects.
But didn't win shit.
Didn't win. Marvel's always nominated for visual effects, it seems, but doesn't win anything in visual effects. And I thought I heard somewhere where it's like, Doctor Strange, I think, is Marvel's first chance to be nominated for visual effects. I'm like, this person's clearly not paying attention because they're nominated every year for visual effects and have yet to win. Tragic. So, what is our final tally?
Final tally, Marvel, 3 Academy Award winners. DC Comics, 5.
Ooh.
So, take what you will with that.
But still a box office.
It's still about making billions of dollars.
Right.
All the time.
So, with that in mind, speaking of money, another headlines, the top 10 grossing movies of the weekend, Get Out, number 1 in the country.
Woo!
Which apparently got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
So far. I mean, it's still early, but it's pretty surprising for it to have 100%. I mean, the scale, we've talked about Rotten Tomatoes.
Sure.
It just means that nobody's disliked it yet.
Yeah.
Even if they gave it like a 3 out of 5 stars, they could still label it as certified fresh or whatever.
It's still.
So, no, it's supposed to be fantastic. I have to figure out when I'm going to see it because there's just a smorgasbord of like almost summertime movies coming out within the next month.
March is going to be busy for us.
Swamped.
There's a movie every weekend and sometimes 2 that I want to see in the week of March.
GGPR is coming out. It's Go-Go Power Rangers.
Yes.
Saban's Go-Go Power Rangers.
Kong comes out.
Kong comes out
Logan,
in 2 weeks.
Beauty and the Beast. I want to see that. Trainspotting 2. I want to see that as well. Then there's...
when does Life come out?
The 24th.
Oh,
and
my God.
Something else that comes out that week as well that I can't remember. That's something that...
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers. That's a Power Rangers one. And then Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
March is stacked.
Ooh.
And then it kind of teeters off, which is sad. But
damn.
March is very stacked. Anyway, Lego Batman at number 2. This is what I wanted to bring up. John Wick with staying power moved, I think, up a spot from last week.
Yeah, because it was a 4 last week.
Yeah, number 3 at 9 million. So, John Wick finally got over the Great Wall.
Oh, finally.
Only took a week.
He's going to, they made their money back.
Absolutely. In some sad movie news, though, or I guess television news now, Bill Paxton has passed away at 61. Died on the operating table, so that is actually tragic.
That's tragic.
Because he didn't, go in for a normal surgery, don't come out. So
any heart procedure is not necessarily normal, but
yeah, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, No, it's a
you go into it assuming you're going to come out.
He was in Navy SEALs.
He was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He's in Twister.
Yes, Apollo 13. He's in tons and tons of movies, but the one thing that people have to think about now is he is the lead on the CBS show Training Day.
Not anymore.
That's what I said. Clap. Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys are separated now. You can't high five anymore. Anyway, Paxton's the lead on...
He was.
Formerly. You know what? Not all of his episodes have aired yet. So in theory, still technically the lead. He's going to have to unless you have a horrible, back at the head moment or something. So that's my question to you. They've only aired 4 episodes. I think there might be 8 in the can already of a 13-episode season, or 9 in the can of a 13-episode season. I think he's filmed the majority of the season already, but not all of it.
Does he play the bad cop?
He's the Denzel Washington type character, yes.
So you just have this young cop's arc skyrocket much faster because he sees, Bill Paxton dies, I assume, doing something bad in the line of duty. He's like, wow, I really shouldn't go down that dark path. And they're like, hey, Training Day, done in one season.
Do you try and do a second season? Because this isn't the first time that a major star has died on camera.
You're also assuming that
while
it's
the
going to
show's
do well
been
enough.
Going.
Yeah.
I mean, so far it's been doing well. It's been doing well enough. Yeah,
That's good to know.
I said it's 4 episodes into its run already, as I said, and shows it turns out TV stations don't cancel shows anymore, which will be our next headline that I'll get to in a second. So what do you do? Because some of the more famous ones, like in comedy, John Ritter died during 8 Simple Rules. That show went on for another year and a half or whatever.
Yeah, it did.
There's been other scenarios where a major person has died midway through filming or whatever, and they find a way to continue.
I think you try and keep going.
Yeah, I mean, that is part of entertainment. It's the show must go on. Sort of thing.
Do you bring in another new older bad cop, or do you just do the rise, or maybe you make the young cop who got turned now the older bad cop quicker than you think, and he's got the younger partner or whatever, or he's got the naive person who would be closer in age to him. And then make it maybe a redemption story over the next few
Training
years.
Day TV show sounds like a better version of Gotham. This is what I wish, because you could just make it about the internal strife of corruption in the police force.
I'm pretty sure that's what Training Day is.
Right, but then you don't have to make it just about like old guy that's been through it all and then the young guy. Like, you don't have to necessarily have that relationship. You just find another angle to pursue. Mm-hmm. Like, if you could find a clever way to do Bill Paxton's death in this one, where he got tied up in something, but it also got the kid tied up in it too. So now the kid, even though now the only guy that knows he isn't dirty is dead, and like suspicions are like, there's different things you can do with it. Mm-hmm. I don't think you necessarily have to have the two figures that you had in the original Training Day.
Gotcha. I mean, that seems to be working. Lethal Weapon got renewed for a season 2, and that's not exactly the same dynamic. No, it didn't. So, with that in mind, speaking of cancellations and everything else, we're in February.
Beautiful.
And actually, by the time you listen to this, it might even be March, unless you listen into it today, the day it gets released. The first TV show of the 2016-2017 season just got canceled. The very first.
Which one was it?
It's not Vampire Diaries, is it?
No, remember, They're not getting canceled. They're ending the show. There's a difference.
Cancel them early.
No, because they just finished filming.
Nina Dobrev still has to come back.
No, she already filmed. They finished filming.
Oh, is she back?
Yeah.
Oh, she came back. This is all speculation.
No, it's not. For a man who loves this show.
I've never seen it.
You've seen one episode.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we watched the premiere.
No, we didn't.
We watched the very first episode.
No, we
Yes,
didn't.
we did, because there's the fight outside the house or whatever.
No,
yes,
Joe.
And remember,
if you
there's the
this...
teachers. No, we watched it in the basement of the old house we used to live in, because they're like, oh, Mystic Falls or whatever, and it's the guy going down. Like, we watched one episode. Go log onto your Netflix, and I bet you if you pull it up, it says season 1, episode 2, because we watched the first episode.
If you watch the show without me,
I didn't watch this show.
This
without
podcast
you.
is over.
I didn't watch the show without you. We watched the first episode.
I don't believe you, because if we had, we'd be done with it.
No.
We'd be caught up. We'd be fanboying about this show so bad.
We did this like about a year and a half ago.
I don't buy it.
So what show got canceled?
All right, yes, thank you. Doubt, starring Katherine Heigl.
I have doubt.
Not
Like that
close. One? No, not the same one, but yeah, that's also bad. Got canceled, where she's a lawyer or whatever. It aired 2 episodes, filmed 13. It only aired 2 and got canceled.
Whoa.
Now, this is a big deal for a couple reasons. One, it proves that Katherine Heigl is no longer marketable, because this is the second series of hers to get canceled after 2 or 3 episodes since she's tried to come back from Grey's Anatomy. 2, this is the first show to get canceled in this TV series season, because other stations are not canceling their shows because they're realizing the benefit of Netflix. So what happens is like the CW. They don't order the back 9. Oh, did episode 2 pop up on your...
It's partially viewed, but it doesn't say go to episode 2.
Okay. We watched...
Again, you have access to my Netflix without me. This proves nothing.
We watched it. I swear to God, we watched it.
In terms of logic, Sam's got the stronger argument here.
My brother also has my Netflix. He could be a hardcore season 1, episode 1 of Vampire Diaries enthusiast.
Just rewatching the same one episode.
Maybe.
Anyway, so the examples we've seen of shows not getting canceled is the CW on the 2 shows that they've already canceled just didn't order the back 9 on them. Other shows have chosen to order an entire full season and just not renew. Mm-hmm. What they're doing now is they're seeing the possibility of Netflix and throwing up a complete season rather than 4 or 5 episodes when they've already committed to making 10 to 13 of these anyway. Gotcha. So it kind of, because they sell it to Netflix, they get money that way, and it kind of starts to refresh. However, this Katherine Heigl show was deemed so bad that within 2 episodes, axed.
What's the name of it? Doubt?
Doubt.
She's just a pariah. I'm fairly certain, yeah? I think everybody hates her, I think. Isn't that accurate? Like,
yeah.
She's a nightmare? 'Cause I remember she did like a cat food commercial and it was like, okay, this is
because apparently she was that much of a bitch on Grey's Anatomy. No word on if she was a bitch on Roswell, but
she was a treat on Roswell.
Was she?
I actually watched season 1, episode 1 of Roswell yesterday. Shuri Appleby is timeless. I don't know what else she's in.
Who's that?
The lead.
Oh, the lead girl,
Liz Parker. The show Roswell that lasted 3 seasons.
1 on the WB, 2 on UPN.
Doesn't matter. It's so popular it had to go to multiple networks.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Anyway, in other movie news, Nightwing movie director Chris McKay, who you may know as one half of the Lego... not the Lego movie. He directed Lego Batman. Is now moving into live-action Batman universe, and he will be directing the Nightwing movie that's coming out. Are we starting to see a new direction for the DCEU? Because Matt Reeves also gets announced as officially helming the Batman title, putting that to rest.
So much rest.
Are we going to see more Batman offshoots than DC Universe offshoots?
Yes.
So we're almost going to be building an extended Batman universe where you see the occasional DC movie pop up into frame.
No, I don't think not really. I think you're seeing them say, hey... Plus, this is like brand new news for Nightwing. Like, this isn't something they've been like in the works for a long time. They know about.
They've got Birds of Prey. They've got Suicide Squad. Like,
Suicide Squad's not necessarily a Batman. Like, it's
the way they did it.
It's
was
primarily
Batman.
a Batman thing. But I don't know. I think this is just them covering their bases and being like, hey, Ben Affleck's not going to do this forever, nor should he. Where you're going to need a Batman type figure. Mm-hmm. So let's do a Nightwing movie and see if it's Nightwing, or figure out what's gonna be. I think it's just keeping your options open, especially after the kerfluffle the last couple of months have been.
Speaking of shared universes, we talked last week about Greg Berlanti's potential Black Lightning TV series and how they were looking for their lead to be Idris Elba, but not Idris Elba. Elba-esque. Enter Cress Williams, who was apparently on Heart of Dixie.
Don't know what that was.
It was a CW show starring...
It was trying to rip off the Nashville, I guess, yeah?
No, it was way before Nashville. Yeah, this is like Sophia Bush. I think this was like her big thing after the OC or whatever.
I don't watch those shows. I watch good shows like Roswell.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, he will be...
he was also in Prison Break.
Ah, well, there you go. He will be the Idris Elba principal-like character on Black Lightning, which has already gotten a full series order for the 2017-2018 season.
Of course it has.
Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns? Because they've also teased on the CW that with this new show, next year's crossover will make this year's crossover look like it was nothing.
Oh, whoa. Really?
Yes.
Exactly.
Are we done with the CW universe?
Has anybody watched any episodes from this season? Show of hands.
Nope.
None. Great.
Are you ever going to go back to any of them? Oh, no. Didn't you watch the Superman episodes of Supergirl?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No, we just saw the screenshots of it, and we're just like, that looks like crap.
Oh, I actually heard those were good. I can't remember who I heard they were good from now.
Not I.
But...
maybe if they're on Netflix.
Will you ever go back to Flash? Because you enjoyed Flash a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, that counts. That's in the universe.
Yeah, when it's on Netflix, probably.
Okay.
There's a lot to do.
All right, with that in mind, speaking of television and comic book television, we're going to play a game coming up here in just a second on whether or not a character was introduced in the comics or in a different form of media and then brought into the comics.
Okay.
Chillin'.
What's your name for it? You could say like when and how or anything. Anything that's not...
I thought you were supposed to come up with the name.
Yeah, we'll call it when and how.
When and how, coming up next.
They're taking the hobbits to Threetwise Radio!
We may have watched that episode.
We
Maybe,
did.
but the only way to figure it out is to watch it again.
That's fair. So we're playing when and how because, well, I'll tell the story this way. With Logan coming out this Friday, X-23 is making her feature film debut. Push back in the drawer.
It's fine.
Push back in the drawer.
It's fine.
Okay. Then move.
I'm not going to stop holding it until you keep going.
Okay. So with X-23 making her feature film debut in the movie Logan, I was looking up a little bit about her, and I found out that she wasn't actually debuted in the comics. She was made for the X-Men Evolution TV series in one of this third or fourth season episode.
It was the third season.
Third season? Mm-hmm. And they loved her so much that they brought her over to the comic books.
Interesting.
So we all know of like Harley Quinn and Live Wire and everything else. So they're not going to be included in this game.
Damn it.
However, there are many other characters, and some that haven't, that have been debuted in other forms of media, but not the comics. So I'm going to go through this list, and you're going to have to tell me whether or not this person was debuted outside of the comics or inside the comics.
Okay.
All right? They're going to get progressively harder, but for the first one, we're just going to go with plain and simple. We're going to go sticking with the X-Men universe.
Out.
Morph was either out of the comics or in the comics.
He was out of the comics.
I don't know who Morph is. I'm going to say deep inside the comics.
Morph is out of the comics. And you may, Sam, have you ever seen the animated series, the X-Men animated series?
Yeah.
You remember the very first episode where the shape-changing mutant dies?
Oh, okay.
That's Morph.
That's Morph. And then in season 2, he has a whole story arc. He's so popular that Mr. Sinister actually took him over, and he tries to kill Scott and Jean.
Yeah.
So that storyline made him so popular, though, that they eventually put him in the comics and later on. Okay. All right? So Garrett won that one.
Undefeated.
Next, the Tick in the comics or outside of the comics?
In the comics.
In the comics.
That's correct. The Tick was in New England.
But I said it first.
I'll give you that.
Was New England Comics number 14, July of 1986. His cartoon doesn't come on until 1992. The Wonder Twins. The two Teen Titan Justice League superhero characters who one can change into anything to do with water, the most useless power ever.
Shape of an ice dragon.
Yeah. And the other one can change into any animal, I believe.
Yeah.
Is what it is. So the Wonder Twins, in the comics or outside of the comics?
In the comics.
Outside.
Outside of the comics.
Oh, wah.
Did they have their own cartoon or something? At one
They were part of the Super Friends, which was like this horrible 1970s Justice League cartoon.
Solomon Grundy want pants too.
Yeah, that cartoon. Yes.
Solomon Grundy does wear pants.
And they actually do not get debuted into the comics until Extreme Justice number 9, which doesn't come out until 1995. Okay. So they're in the comics now, and they've actually been almost every version of they're in the Justice League cartoon later on. They make appearance in Smallville. So they've fallen into the DC canon fairly easily. All right, number 4, Amanda Waller.
In the comics. She
Yes.
debuted with the Tick.
In the comics.
In the comics, that is correct.
Said it first.
So she's actually, though, a character that was created for a crossover in 1986. Part of the DC Legends crossover. It was like their first big post-crisis crossover. And Amanda Waller's heading up the government agency that basically oversees everything.
Gotcha.
All right. Next, the villain who can basically mimic any move, Taskmaster from the Marvel Universe. Outside of the comics or inside the comics?
Inside the comics.
That is correct. Taskmaster debuted in Avengers number 195.
Taskmaster.
Sorry, thank you. Taskmaster, 195, May of 1980 in the comics. All right.
Bam.
Next, the Mutant Firestar. She's part of the New Warriors, later on in the Avengers. And in the Ultimate Universe is actually Liz Allen, after a mutant phobia finds out she is a mutant later on. Yes, she's outside the comics.
For X-Men Evolution?
No, a 1973 cartoon called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yes.
Where she's invented just for the comics and is paired up with Spider-Man and Iceman for no apparent reason other than a Saturday morning cartoon.
I didn't consider her a mutant at that point, so it was like...
Next, Jimmy Olsen.
He was comics.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Nope, outside the comics.
I'm going to say inside the comics.
Like Kryptonite, Jimmy Olsen was created for the radio show outside of the comics. So his first appearance is in the radio show. The radio show actually debuts a lot of Superman stuff. It's the first time they use Kryptonite. It's the first time Lex Luthor is actually portrayed as a villain other than just some mad scientist that's working for someone, that he's his solo villain. And it's also the first time that the Daily Planet is mentioned. Before that, he works for the Daily Star or whatever. So yeah, Jimmy Olsen is a product of the radio show. Next, Bebop and Rocksteady. Outside of the comics or in the comics?
I'm going to say in the comics.
I'm going to say outside the comics.
Outside the comics. They were actually created for the 1987 cartoon series as giving Shredder some sort of henchman and to create more toys to coincide with.
Worked.
Do love toys. All right, point for
So-
Garrett.
All right, we're down to our last two. So this is where they're getting a little harder. or they're actually getting their hardest. Renee Montoya from the Batman universe. She is a cop in the Batman universe. Later, it becomes the Question, I believe.
I want to say inside the comics. You would.
Outside. I want to say outside. It was from one of the animated series, wasn't it?
Yep. Renee Montoya is created outside the comics for Batman the Animated Series to pair with Harvey Bullock.
Yeah.
But they love her so much that she's actually the first character that gets brought over from the animated series, not Harley Quinn. Later on that year, she gets thrown into the comics. Fans love the fact that there's a female cop as well within the Gotham PD. And the last one, because I know how much you love it, so I want to see how much you know about the character. Superhero Static Shock. Inside the comics or outside the comics?
I'm going to say
Outside.
I'm going to say inside the comics, but it's real dumb.
It is inside the comics.
Is it dumb?
No, not really.
All right.
Static Shock is created in 1993, about 7 years before his cartoon, but he's not originally a DC property. He's a Milestone property. So I don't know if anyone remembers Milestone who's listened to the podcast or not. But Milestone was created by Dwayne McDuffie, who was a big wig at DC, and then broke off to basically create his own African-American centered universe. So you would have these major African-American superheroes. Everyone was a black man who was a big superhero, or a black woman who was a big superhero, and it was called Milestone. And only lasted for like 2 years before it bellied up, this comic book thing. And then DC took all the characters in, and there's like a whole big thing in the 90s, like mid-95 and 96 after Milestone goes belly up, where you have these wacky characters teaming up with Superman and Batman and all these little crossover things to try and
Revitalize
integrate them in the DC universe. Well, Static Shock is the only one that actually takes off and still becomes his own character.
He's a powerhouse. Tour de force.
I didn't keep score, neither did Sam, even though he was fake writing it down.
That's so true. According to this tally. Yeah, I didn't keep. It's a bunch of squiggly lines. Thought I might be able to pull something out of it. I think it was a pretty even spread.
So that's what I'm just saying. Next time you think that maybe your favorite character is created inside the comics, might want to look it up.
Wasn't Psylocke and Longshot created outside?
No, those are both created inside the comics. Speaking of mutants, maybe one of them will be on someone's team.
Doubt it.
What is this weird place?
1 part gymnasium, 1 part survival course, affectionately referred to as the danger room.
Come on, Gambit, can't you make this program a little tougher?
Why? You don't like Gambit to be gentle?
Our enemies won't be. Crank it up.
All right, so in honor of Logan, we're going to be doing a little fun game where we pit ourselves against each other. We'll just say it's in the danger room. So each of us have picked a team of 4 X-Men, 4 mutants. Could be good or bad, doesn't matter. They're on the same team for the purposes of this competition. We do not know who we will be facing, but each of us have picked 4 to be our champions, 4 assorted villains / whatever else we want to be the enemies, and then we have also picked 1 terrain or situation that they are in.
Okay.
So it's all going to be randomly plotted who will be facing who. So Joe's people may be facing mine, he may be facing yours. It all depends on how the dice roll. And then so if Joe and I are facing each other, Garrett's terrain is the terrain that we are fighting on, and Garret becomes Dungeon Master, where he will determine who wins the battle based on us conversing.
I like that. I did not know that.
Yeah, I just thought of it. So,
All right. Well, let's just do that example then.
so that's what we're gonna be doing. All right, to pick who's gonna go first. Joe, we can edit this out, or we can leave it in. Doesn't matter. Joe, between 1 and 3, pick a number. Garret, between 1 and 3, pick a number.
Do 1.
All right, Garret is the heroes,
Okay.
and you are the villain.
So I give him my villains.
So Garret will give you his good guy team, his team. Mm-hmm. You will give him the enemies, and I will tell you the location that you will be doing this in.
And you'll be our judge.
And I will be judge, jury, and eventual executioner.
Okay.
Go for it, Garret.
All right, so my team...
Keep in mind also, you can only have 1 Omega level game-changing mutant.
My team is Cloak,
Okay.
Magneto, Bishop, and Franklin Richards.
Okay. Franklin Richards being your Omega guy.
When he's like 10 years old. Magneto is...
What is
I guess-
Franklin's power set?
He's like super psionic. He's got reality warping. He's on level with like the Astrals and Celestials. So
who is he going to be facing?
All right.
Keep in mind, the villains do not have to be X-Men.
No. However, I chose 2 from the X-Men universe and 2 not.
Okay.
So the 2 from the X-Men universe are Rogue and Nimrod.
remind me of Nimrod's powers.
Nimrod is basically your ultimate Sentinel. So from the animated series.
I remember him.
So there's that. And then my 2 not from the X-Men universe, Zod and Amazo.
Ooh.
Amazo, okay.
Amazo being the cybernetic robot who can basically adapt to anything. And last time I checked, unkillable, has to be beaten by empathy to leave the universe because he doesn't care about it.
Kryptonite.
That's fair. Okay, so let's list them off one more time. Garrett.
Franklin Richards.
Yep.
Magneto.
Yep.
Bishop.
Yep.
Cloak.
All right. Joe.
Zod, Rogue, Nimrod, Amazo.
And what's
All
our...
right. And your location, you guys will be fighting in the year 1999 on the International Space Station wearing spacesuits.
I like my chances because 2 of my people don't need spacesuits.
Go for it.
Actually, can Krypton... I should know this. Kryptonians... Depends on the version of Kryptonians, too.
Exactly. And this is where I get to be judge.
All right, what version of Kryptonian do I have?
What? Overpowered?
I'm asking.
You have just a regular level. Yeah, they don't need oxygen.
Okay, so
Essentially, right? Not really.
no, and even then, like, they can hold their breath for, like, really long periods of time. Okay, so 3 of my people don't need oxygen, and Rogue can touch Zod at any moment.
I mean, they all have spacesuits, so they're fine.
Well,
But they don't need space.
Unless-
Unless,
spacesuits
yeah,
gets
that's a
punctured.
pretty. That's why I was hoping somebody would pick Wolverine because he can't do anything. It's just- all right, is it a factor for you?
Yes, but I can work around it.
All right,
How would you work around it?
Franklin,
us through
Richards, Franklin Richards is able to alter reality so that I don't need to breathe oxygen.
okay. I think that would be a pretty exhaustive power to be able to make sure that these people don't need it. So I would say that that's a little taxing on him.
Okay.
But
That's the big thing with these Omega level mutants is usually when they exert some kind of Omega level power, it can be quite taxing. So he's not just
Okay.
going to be able to be God.
Yeah.
So we got to nerf that a little bit. All right, but how do you win?
Any sort of like, not projectile, but like, laser beams, heat vision, whatever you as Zod are gonna send at me, I'm able to absorb as Bishop. Same with anything you send with me as Amazo. So there's that.
Good point.
Cloak is also able to redirect any of that, should need be.
So Zod's not going to be able to use lasers for the
Okay.
most part. He's going to, I mean, you still can, but
Yeah.
he's going to have to find a different way to go about it.
Cloak can also just, any time that someone's gonna get too close, just like teleport these guys out into space. It's gonna not really gonna affect shit.
Because then they'll just fly back.
Exactly.
How far out can Cloak send somebody?
That's a good question. Don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
How much power is Rogue absorbing from Zod? Because that's gonna put him out of commission.
I mean, you're assuming that I said that. I just
Well,
said
I know,
that
but
if
I'm-
she wanted to.
And this is a rogue.
If
This is
she
rogue
wanted
where
to.
she
She
has
just sucks power. She is not strong. None of the
she's
Miss Marvel
not
stuff.
Miss Marvel. She's just rogue.
So
Okay. Now I look this
what's
up.
your combatant at this?
I was gonna say, yeah. Let's fight here.
Now
Let's
I
do this.
looked this up because this was the only way that Nimrod was defeated the first time around. Rogue can actually absorb and use multiple mutant powers at the same time.
Correct.
So you have, once again, you had Bishop, you had Magneto, you had Cloak, and who was your fourth?
Franklin.
Franklin, okay.
Magneto would be such a plus in this environment because you could just rip a hole open into the space station really quickly. But it doesn't matter for
'cause of
any
his
of
team.
his characters.
I know.
I feel like I have Zod on Magneto. Because Zod is my... Actually, all of them except Rogue, and not Nimrod. Zod and Amazo could both be general-like people, where they're plotting the entire structure of how this battle takes place. So I feel like Zod is on probably Magneto, and then you put Rogue onto Cloak. because all Rogue has to do is just make some sort of contact.
But also, touching Cloak sends you into the dark dimension where, like...
But he has to actually be open to do it. So if she was able to come...
constantly is.
No, he's not constantly open.
This guy is a grade A flasher.
I mean, if we want... So how many of your guys do I have to neutralize then to win?
All of them?
All of
you
them?
have to win the fight.
Also,
So wait, so is he going to win just on swallowing everyone in the beginning and then that's it?
No,
like I'm
because
you can get out of like the dark dimension or whatever. I mean,
Sure.
like, Spider-Man's done it, but it's like
We don't have to. You don't. It's not Cloak. It's when
That's
Cloak,
where I'm-
It's when Cloak opens himself up to it. It's not just touching him.
I was always
Stops him or like sends you into another dimension.
okay.
Otherwise, Dagger is not getting much out of that relationship.
But Dagger's like
Shoots light blades out of her hands. I get it.
yeah.
It's a yin and a yang. I would say that to me, in my book, Cloak has to actually let you open yourself up to that, or he has to allow that to happen.
Gotcha.
So I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
he's got enough fast hitters that like Zod could just zoop and then just punch him in
Not
the back
Rogue,
of the head.
though.
Not Rogue. No, probably not.
And that's who he's having go up.
That's what I
against
was
him.
having.
Oh, that's who you're having.
Side
go
note:
up against. Okay.
Can't Magneto breathe in space? Pretty sure there's several occasions where he's just like, I'm just floating around in
I mean,
space.
there's several occasions where he's just like, "Oh, I'm the magnetism of the celestialness
Of the air
of
the air
the world
molecules.
has caused me to be God." But I'm just doing like a X-Men movie Magneto for
Alright.
X-Men animated series. For
Okay,
this.
well then he does that in that. So.
Oh, okay. He's just like a little pink bubble over his head.
Yeah.
He's like, fine.
Not even that. He's just like, I'm floating in this ball of electricity. We're
You
good.
can do that. That's fine.
Well, Zod can bend steel or anything with his bare hands. So I'm assuming, and also there really has never been a magnet that I've seen like Superman or any Kryptonian be like, I can't.
It's too powerful.
Yeah, I can't get out of this force. So I feel like Zod would just snap Magneto's neck.
I guess it boils down to what it boils down to it is, can your guys defeat his guy? I'm gonna go ahead and say Cable is a non.
Bishop.
Or sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and say Bishop is almost a non-factor here.
I was
Because
going to
as
put
long as
Nimrod on Bishop
As
because
long as you
every
don't
time
shoot lasers, just punch him.
I was going to put Nimrod on Bishop because multiple times every storyline with Bishop involves him going into the past to defeat Nimrod.
To run
With
away from
getting help
Nimrod.
yeah.
So I would say that Cable's not gonna really do much for you.
That's good because Cable's not in this fight also.
Damn it. Damn it. I always want to say that. Bishop is not really an X factor in this at all. So I would say he's donezo. How do you defeat... Who else you got?
Franklin Richards, I put
don't know how
Amazo.
you defeat
I put
Franklin
Amazo on Franklin Richards because you basically have two people. You have a robot
Countering each other
Yes, because he can absorb Franklin's powers as well. He can basically self-upgrade to any type of power that he sees fit.
Is that accurate with like telekinetic powers?
I don't know about telekinetic powers, but he would
Or, like,
be
powers
aware
of the
of
mind?
Yeah, but he would be aware that the environment is shifting around him. So I don't think that Richards' brain is going to be able to get inside Amazo's brain because how do telepaths affect computers at the end of the day?
They don't. That's a good point.
I mean,
That's a good point. If he is just a computer, you got to do more research about these characters, Garrett.
I can also have Richards just use psionic beams on Bishop to power him up.
I guess that's true too. This may have been more difficult than we originally anticipated.
I mean, that's fine. So I've got Bishop shooting powerful beams at it. I have sacrificed Rogue in some form or fashion probably already.
All right, so
To
just
this.
to
But-
list off Franklin's abilities here on the wiki: reality manipulation down to a molecular level, telepathy, telepathic illusion, telepathic cloak, mind link, telepathic camouflage, mind control, mind possession, mind alteration.
Yeah, he's a boring hero.
Mental amnesia, psionic shield, psionic blasts, astral projection, mental detection, and mind transfer.
What's the point?
I don't know, man.
I'm not,
You mean
not
of him,
knocking
or-
on you, but like, what's the point of even making someone like that?
Oh.
Like, what? Why?
Some sort of messiah character.
Yes, great, but why does he have to be a Richards?
So that's why I have Amazo on Richards because Amazo, once again, at the end of the day, like all these things are gonna know, and he's gonna be fascinated with all these things happening to him, and just kind of studying the environment and trying to study Richards himself. Like I feel like at the end of the day, like maybe everyone's dead,
But
Amazo and Richards,
Richards?
and Richards has just become Amazo's like experiment, where he's just like, what else can you do? And just keeps poking him and prodding him.
Wait, who's poking who?
Amazo's poking Richards.
I would say they're poking each other. right?
Yeah, I mean...
All right, so here's what I'm
to
gonna do to expedite this. I'm taking Richards and Amazo out of the situation because they're in the other side of the space station, just like talking about life, okay, or what is life, or how can we make life better, or whatever. So they're off the table. Boom, they're gone. Having a
Okay, so I still have the
conversation.
super speed where I say that Zod with strength super speed could have already taken out Magneto, and while Rogue, who is basically my decoy, is diving headfirst at Cloak, trying to basically steal his powers. Zod is so fast that he's already caught Cloak off guard and snapped his neck as well. Because Zod is just snapping necks like twig bones.
He does like to kill
And now you have Bishop, who is still just at a stalemate with Nimrod, running away. And Zod has now tracked him down as well. So...
This is just a Zod fest.
Pretty much.
Garrett, do you have any... Again, there's no winner... I mean, there are winners and losers, but there's no... Do you have something to counter Zod with your group of three?
No. With that group of three, no.
Okay. All right, then I begrudgingly, just for my distaste of Omega level mutants, give it to Joe for the victory.
I cheated with Amazo, but
That's fine.
you said anything.
You did.
All right, that's fine. All right, now let's swivel it. So let's let Garrett be the judge, jury, and executioner.
Okay.
Joe, give me your heroes.
Okay. So I have Polaris, who's basically a play out of his book. Magnetic capabilities. She can also shoot energy beams.
Yeah.
Magneto's daughter, Laura Dane. I have Storm.
Okay.
I have Longshot.
Which one is that?
Longshot is basically the MacGyver of the X-Men
He
universe.
just makes anything work.
Yes, his mutant power is luck. So like you can shoot 100
The
things
same
at him.
as Domino.
Yeah, he can shoot 100 things at him and nothing will hit him. Like he's gonna figure out a way, and he's gonna see like 5 things in front of him and figure out a way to make a weapon from it or
Okay.
whatever. And then I have the White Queen, Emma Frost.
Okay.
Who's your Omega level?
No one.
Omega levels are boring.
Okay.
All right.
I looked at the Omega levels and I was like, I don't
None
want.
of these are good.
Yeah.
So you will be facing off against Blob,
Okay.
Magneto, Darth Vader, and a series of alien eggs throughout wherever our playing field is.
How long do alien eggs have to hatch?
How long do they have to hatch?
Yeah, because if they're just the eggs,
If we're going based off the shows, whenever anyone's close to it, that's hatching time.
Your setting is the lost city of Atlantis.
are we underwater?
You're under. This is a.
We're all dead.
No, this is like Atlantis, like in a bubble.
In
sort
a
of
bubble?
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Just so you know, there's now a horde of Atlantean-powered aliens on my side.
Okay, horde
Food
of
for thought.
literally, horde of Atlantean-powered aliens.
Who are you?
Magneto.
Who
No, I have Polaris, Storm, Longshot,
Emma Frost.
Emma Frost. Yes.
Now I'm gonna kick this one to Garrett because I think right away. So my judge for the aliens was: are any of the people on his team dumb enough or kind enough to want to investigate eggs rather than just destroy them or not know what they are so get away? And I would argue that Storm would approach them to see what they are and get egged. I mean,
Do you die instantly from getting egged?
You don't die, but you get infected, and then there's an alien
Incubation
growing in
time.
your body.
Okay.
You'd still be able to fight for a while, but there
Yep.
would come a point where a thing would blow out of you.
I'm okay with that. All right,
so Storm's infected?
Storm's infected because immediately after that gets infected, she's freezing everything. She's freezing all those fucking eggs. Those eggs aren't hatching anymore because it's like, this just happened. This is fucked up. This isn't doing it. This is what happens to these things. Freezing all of them.
Okay. So we've got some aliens already in the play. Some alien Atlanteans, who I don't know that power level. It's high. And an infected Storm. Magneto Polaris, who wins that battle? Papa versus daughter.
I think Magneto wins that one.
I honestly don't know Polaris or her skill set.
It's the
very
same skill
much.
set.
It's a lot of the same skill set. She does have the energy. She does have more of an energy. She does have some sort of energy blast, though, too, I know of, which is how her and Alex get involved in the comics for a bit.
Okay. So I could argue for a stalemate for that.
Okay.
What do you have also then?
Blob.
Blob.
Which I would
Okay.
just say.
Hang on. Keep going. What's the next one?
I'd like to know how Longshot defeats Blob.
Hang
That's
on.
my
What?
question.
Who's the other one?
Oh, Darth Vader.
Right.
I would argue that Blob is not intellectually smart enough for Emma Frost to even bother messing with telekinesis, so he is immune. You cannot get into that basic of an organism. It's just food.
Longshot.
Food and sleep. The motives are too pure.
So all right. I've got how Longshot defeats the Blob.
Just not encountering him.
No, he is going to not only engage the Blob, but he's going to engage Vader as well. And Longshot is so lucky with his mutant power that one of those force pushes from Vader is going to just move the Blob, bam, right into something and knock the Blob out.
Could I respond then by saying that Vader realizes that, this guy's just so lucky that he's moving my force blast, I'm going to choke him with the force.
I mean, that's fine. I've already neutralized the Blob.
I also don't think that would work.
Hang on. Wait, you don't think
Because
Vader could move the Blob?
The Blob is immovable.
So you don't think Vader could move the Blob?
No.
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here.
That's the Blob's whole mutant power is
And
that
yet he gets moved all the fucking time.
Juggernaut also gets stopped consistently.
Right. I mean, we talked about this in the Superhero Olympics. I picked the Blob in wrestling so I could just fall on you. And you're like, nah, because then you guys picked like stronger characters or whatever who could feasibly move him.
I will give you that because we agreed that Storm becomes an alien. I will argue that though he didn't move him a lot, he rolled the Blob over onto his back, and the Blob spends as much time struggling to get back up
Fair enough.
as Storm does to turn into
I
an
was
alien.
going to say that he gets knocked out, but
Okay, he gets knocked out for the entire duration of the fight.
yes.
You acceptable with that, Garrett? All right, so what are we looking at here? Magneto, Vader. Still haven't covered that alien horde, by the way. Still just kind of...
Yeah, we did. We froze all the alien eggs.
Well, yeah, but what about the ones that already hatched?
No, you said alien eggs. That doesn't mean that there's other aliens out there. We're just at the alien eggs.
are in the Atlanteans.
I also never said there was Atlanteans. I just said you were in Atlantis.
Is it empty?
Yes.
Okay, it's empty. Well, then we're just changing the whole story up right away. That's fine. We still have a mutant alien goddess coming our way, so that's fine. That's fine. I take it. All right.
Keeping in mind that means that Storm and Emma Frost would have already been on Vader then.
Potentially, you're not gonna. That guy's had enough Force lightning before. I don't think he's worried about lightning.
Not worried
can
about lightning.
What can Storm do? What elements can she?
She can create any weather element. The only thing is that
She's underwater. Doesn't she require outside sources though?
She only requires what is around her. So if there is
purified air,
yeah,
no
and
wind.
we're in the bubble of that. So if there is if there is any element there, so she's able to freeze things because there's still water. She can create the moisture in the air can turn into like the fog, the cold, whatever, and all that other stuff. Once you have that, because essentially our wind comes from water. I mean, everything comes from water. It's once a planet has dried up, that's when you no longer have any elements, no longer have life, no longer have everything else. So the fact that we have water encased around us, water in the air, she's still able to. It's not going to be like a grand scale. Like she's not going to be able to create a tidal wave within the bubble or anything.
Something.
But yes, she can
dick
create
around.
isolated stuff.
Can she do that when a Sith Lord is choking the life out of her?
So I don't even know how I'm going to get. Probably here's my thing is that eventually Vader cracks Emma Frost's diamond.
Oh, with his lightsaber, like I would say immediately.
Right. So
I would think, yeah. You're the dungeon master here, Garrett. Make a decision.
What is her diamond thing? Like her diamond form?
yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. However, she's also telepathic. So this is where it could get into a little bit of stuff. I can't figure out how a telepath and the Force
Fuck each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Me neither.
Because I know how this is going to end.
You know how it ends.
I know how it ends.
You know how it ends.
My only question is
Who gets the point for it?
yes. And I think he's going to agree with my ending, but I still don't know how we're going to award said point. So I want to get to that in a second. But what happens with the Force and telepathy?
I would say that telepathy wins that. Because like the Force has never been like a straight up like, I can make you see visions. I'm forcing you to see other things.
But it does, dude. There is like
I know, but like,
there's mind tricking and stuff. I'd argue that's the same spectrum.
But it has to be on the weak-minded.
Right. So does telepathy to some extent.
Not necessarily in the X-Men universe, to where we've seen all the telepathic mutants basically enter, unless like 80% of the world is weak-minded, which might be.
Wolverine's had like nanochips implanted in him that make him immune to a certain level of immunity. I'm gonna guess with all that metal, all that robotics in Vader, he might have a little bit.
But the mind is still intact.
Right,
that is the only human part on Vader.
Right, but I'm not saying that there's not a chip in there or something that does it. It's the same thing with Wolverine. In Civil War, he had a microchip that's like, I can't be affected by anything under a level 9. It's like, who's to say that Vader doesn't have some
I feel like that's
chip
just
in there
assuming,
as well?
though.
Yeah, this is all assumptions based on fake characters.
So, all right.
So you say telepathy beats the Force.
Yeah.
Okay.
Telepathy beats the Force. So whether or not, I can already tell you probably how this is going to end. Does the alien, if said alien that was inside Storm is now on my team, I win?
No, because at that point, it's no longer Storm. It's just this rabid, psycho Storm wizard alien.
In which case, we all lose.
Yeah.
Except, keep in mind, Blob's still there. He's not dead. He's just unconscious. And I don't know if his skin is penetrable by an alien. I don't know.
Because here's what my thing would be: is Storm like overcome by everything else, while Emma Frost is kind of on her deathbed, is like telepathically like letting Storm hang on, like she knows she's about to split open at any second, but her mind is keeping Storm together to fight Vader. At the end, because this is how all these fucking alien movies end, just about. Emma Frost, her mind power will eventually give out at the climactic of the battle, in which case a very damaged Vader will cut in between Storm or like will kill Storm, at which case at the very end when Vader goes to turn around, alien pops out, kills fucking Vader.
So then we just have an alien.
Yes.
Okay.
And honestly, I would give that one to Sam since it was his idea to have the aliens.
I mean, that's fine. I'm just saying.
Spit apes. Hooray! Wait, what happened to Long Shot?
He got the fuck out there. He was so lucky.
He got on a submarine. There's a scene where he's like, I don't need luck for this. I'm getting on this submarine. I'm out. Oh, there's no keys in the... Oh, wait.
That's your sequel, is Long Shot versus this fucking alien.
Storm alien.
That's your sequel to this horror movie you created.
Oh, good.
That's terrifying.
Yes! All right, I'll take it. All right. Me versus Garret, Battle Royale.
All right,
so I'll try and wrap this one up quickly.
Your heroes.
No, my team sucks. So I pulled Wolverine because gotta have him. It's Logan. Someone had to. He's my fave. My Omega level is Iceman because I think he's more fun to play with than most Omega levels.
I would agree with that.
Because it's different. And then I've got the dynamic duo. We're going to go with Gold Ball.
Who?
Oh, you're not familiar with Gold Ball?
Okay.
No.
He's from Wolverine and the X-Men. When Wolverine took over Xavier's mansion, he's one of the new students that comes in. He's just a fat guy that 3 gold balls pop out of him, and he can move them around and do stuff with them.
Okay.
So,
knock him out?
yeah.
Can you like put him through someone's head?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aren't they like pretty large though?
Yeah, they're like big balls.
Like beach ball size.
He doesn't. Does he look like CeeLo Green?
No.
I mean, he's a stocky Hispanic guy, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or South American or something.
I was just picturing CeeLo Green in like his outfit.
Oh, no, he is almost exclusively wearing a student's outfit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
obviously to wrap it up, the greatest X-Men of all time, Jubilee.
all right.
She's so powerful.
Garret, who's your?
I was gonna say Electro, Darkseid, and
Okay, it's all right. I'm tapping out.
No, wait. You have a fighting chance. Hang on. Keep going.
Sinestro, and
Garret played to win. If you look at his teams, he played to win. My Omega Low Mutant, oh, he's God Richards.
I didn't think of a fourth one for that.
It can be anything. I recommend a mutant because you don't have a normal mutant yet.
Oh, yeah, you technically don't have a mutant at all.
There you go.
Good one.
And you had Wolverine,
Iceman,
Iceman,
Gold Ball,
yeah,
and Jubilee.
I feel like yours is actually a team in some comic book somewhere at one point.
Probably.
And you guys, because I wanted the most neutral, non-existent playing ground ever, desert.
Just desert.
Just a desert.
Perfect.
You have nothing around you. There is nothing but sand, hot,
Sand everywhere.
sand everywhere, desert.
Just so you know, Goldball is a mutant with the superhuman ability to project at high speed gold-colored balls made of an unknown substance and of different sizes from any part of his body.
Okay.
All right.
An infinite number of them, by the way.
All right, so
He's just able to project them. It's like
let's start the argument.
Who's to say?
Let's start the argument. Keep in mind you're facing Darkseid.
Yeah.
However, I would argue that you have the advantage because Darkseid's Omega level beams have been shown not to be able to kill Superman, and you have Wolverine, who we all know through stupid comics could essentially be that motherfucker who just keeps walking up
Getting
to
shot by
Darkseid, like just tearing off skin, skeleton,
Unless he used-
adamantium, and cuts him because adamantium could technically, I think, cut Darkseid. I mean,
I would probably say no. But for the sake of right now, yeah.
Thanks for arguing for me, Joe.
Yeah,
I was
good.
just trying to neutralize your Darkseid.
Keep in mind, so Iceman at his Omega
Sinestro
level.
could take out, I'm pretty sure, Goldball and Jubilee just on his
How
own.
are you going to stop him when there's so many balls coming at you? From literally every part of his body.
Well, he's also a student. So one would assume that this little child is out of his element and very
One
afraid
would also assume that at most times, X-Men students shine the best.
when they're very afraid.
When there's
But he has the
Darkseid.
master. When there's, but he has the master of fear.
Who's that?
Sinestro.
Sinestro.
I don't know. There's a lot of balls. lot of balls.
Would you agree that these are of metallic substance?
It's an unknown substance. That's the thing. Could be gold acid. No one knows. I would argue.
Would you agree that they are of metallic substance though?
I couldn't because the creators haven't. Because the whole thing about him is everybody's always like, what is that? And he always says, I don't know. And they just point out of him.
Okay. Are they? If the balls get hurt, does he get hurt?
The balls can't get hurt. They're just balls.
I mean, if they get struck by
Like if
lightning.
it doesn't matter. He just pops another one out of his body. Any part of his body.
So he just generates balls at a
Yeah,
random.
this is a skee ball machine, just to the highest degree. Some would argue unlimited power.
I mean, Toad and Jubilee are dead. Those two are
Jubilee
dead.
is not dead.
Jubilee is dead.
Electro rides along the electron.
She's fighting Darkseid.
Yeah, but you didn't say who he was fighting yet.
That's for you guys to choose.
I would argue that
I'm
Gold
just
Balls,
talking about how I see it as the third party.
Gold Balls is most intimidated by Darkseid. That although Darkseid is extremely powerful, Gold Balls just starts building balls up, raising Darkseid, and then just kind of balling him away for a while, just to kind of clear him out of the desert for a little bit while he kind of... Can he fly?
Yes, he can.
Can he?
Yes.
I just see him walking with his hands behind his
No, he
back
floats,
a lot.
bro. He
Does
floats.
he?
Yeah, he levitates.
Okay. Well, he gets flown away for a little bit, just for a little bit. Talking 30 seconds here. Keep in mind, Jubilee does have the ability, because her
Shoot fireworks out of her
her
hands.
fireworks are actually like plasmic projections. So it's
Electro
just
is
done
able
in-
to come along as electricity and just shoot along those plasma waves straight at Jubilee.
But if he's floating around it, she can trigger them to blow up at any point in time.
I feel like that's.
I mean, you
What's
have
her
the
reaction
heroes.
time on that? Like that's he's moving at the speed of electricity.
Oh,
and
did
just
I
like,
mention she's
boom.
a vampire? Jubilee is a vampire, by the way.
Is she still a vampire in the comics?
I don't know. Who's to say?
Then she can't be out in the desert right now.
Why not?
Because the sun.
Oh, is it day? Did we ever address that it was day?
He did not.
Oh,
I'll give you that.
Fuck you guys.
I'll give you that.
I think it's nighttime.
No, it's definitely day. And that was before you.
It's definitely
No,
day.
that was before vampire. I just said desert, hot, sandy desert.
All right. That's fair.
So Jubilee is not a vampire. You don't want Jubilee to be a vampire.
All right, fine. Jubilee's not a vampire. All right.
Moving at the speed of electricity though along those plasma waves.
Is Electro? That is.
He is pure
He can
electricity.
move at the speed of electricity.
Does he in the? Is he originally able to do that? I'm trying to remember. I read that comic, but a long time ago. Yeah. I mean, keep in mind my team sucks. But damn, they got spirit.
You've also got a metal conductor with Wolverine there.
He doesn't care. He's just gonna heal through it. Is
Wolverine's
that
doing a lot of fucking healing.
Yeah, that's kind of his whole shtick, isn't it? Is Electro constantly moving? Because I could also argue that Iceman, as soon as the stage set, he pulls all of the water out of the air, so there's no oxygen in the air.
So everybody dies.
Well, he keeps it for his team. That's a very draining effect, but he pulls all the oxygen out of the air only in order to sustain his team. He can do it. That's his Omega level thing. Is that he can technically suck the oxygen out of it. He can take the water out of Electro, essentially just killing him, but he wouldn't do that.
I mean, because every version of I've seen is Electro is pure electricity. Like, he's able to sustain the form that we see in the comics and stuff, but he himself is electricity.
So he's not a person.
Yes.
Is that Joe? What's your ruling on what are we looking at here for Electro?
Electro would be a genetic enhanced human being. So Electro,
he's a person.
Would
he is a person, but he can
this?
turn into sheer electricity.
So, okay.
And traveling at the speed of light, I would say that Jubilee would not have enough time to react jumping across.
That's fine, but he needs
his
oxygen.
Iceman
He needs oxygen to survive. Yes.
He would need oxygen just to even create the electricity.
If Peter Parker beat this bitch,
Once again, though, we're in the desert. We have oxygen.
yeah, Iceman takes it out of the air.
Well, then they're all dead except Darkseid.
He keeps it for his team.
How? I mean, I get
Sheer-
Omega level
sheer
mutant.
will.
Okay,
I'm gonna call
but then
bullshit on that.
Sinestro doesn't need to breathe either. So all you've done is taken out Electro and Toad.
Does
you have-
Sinestro not need to breathe?
Not oxygen. No, he's an alien.
He's also got the ring, which allows him to
do
be in
basically-
space.
Fair. I mean, I'm just trying to find holes, guys.
I know.
Remember,
No, I
picked
know.
a garbage team.
So if that's the game you want to play, you have.
I changed my team. It's actually Apocalypse, Darkseid, Superman, and Batman with 10 hours of prep.
You're the good guys.
Yeah, that's correct.
There's no mutants. Well, there was one mutant on there.
Which one?
Apocalypse.
There you go. In trying to navigate any way that this could possibly be feasible, starting off the bat, no, I just lose. There's no feasible way that I could win this. It could be just Darkseid, and it doesn't. Matter.
No, I argue just Darkseid, you win.
No, how?
Wolverine is going to eventually get through those Omega, because that at the end of the day is what Darkseid does until Darkseid is knows that someone can hurt him. He's too over cocky and confident. So Darkseid is just shooting out Omega level beams with his hands behind his back, thinking, "Oh, poor stupid human." And Wolverine is just constantly creeping up on him. But Darkseid thinks he's winning because
just rips his ass in half.
exactly, and just one slice.
No,
Darkseid
Darkseid rips him in half. I don't think adamantium would go through Darkseid's armor.
Oh, it would.
Would it?
Yes, because adamantium is an alien form, is an alien metal.
Just because you're alien doesn't mean you're balling.
Darkseid still rips him in half.
Okay, Wolverine can survive that. He was ripped in half by Hulk and survived.
And then he takes that other half, throws it in the sun.
This is my team, and I refuse to believe that Wolverine beats Darkseid in a fight.
That's the only one. No, because that's the one of the things you have to think from the hero mentality. Otherwise, you have tons of people like Darkseid, Thanos, Galactus. You have all these villains that can never be defeated ever in the history of comic books. Amazo, like I just used. You have all these villains that can never be, but you have to think of a way that creatively the writers could heroically create the climactic
right,
scene
isn't that what
to
I was
defeat
trying to
them.
do with Iceman sucking all the oxygen out of the room?
Right, but
Also,
I'm just,
Jubilee can send out a little plasmoid into somebody's brain and blow their brain up.
has she done that?
She can.
Has she done it?
No. There was a
Then
point.
how do they know?
Because who was it? I was just reading up on her, and
Okay.
it was something like Storm was in a conversation with her about why she doesn't want to learn the full extent of her powers. Like every fucker has a full extent of their powers that they don't know to use. And she's like, yeah, you could do things like this. Like you could be so much more powerful than you actually are. So it's all conjecture. Again, in this fictional world.
I mean, am I ruling now, or where are we at? You guys still arguing this out?
I still got Sinestro and Darkseid. Even if he sucks out all the oxygen, Sinestro could take on Jubilee and
Yes, for sure.
Goldball.
Yes, I lose. This is
Okay.
I mean, there's just no way to.
That was going to be my judgment. I'm just saying, just Darkseid.
He still would lose.
No, you wouldn't.
You would absolutely.
Then how does
lose.
Darkseid ever lose in the comics?
Superman punches him in the head?
And keeps punching him in the head.
Yes, and I'm telling you, if you have adamantium on the end of that once, that is through your brain. Done.
I don't.
A stabbing in the
don't-
brain is still getting stabbed in the brain.
But the thing is, so
Superman
if
has
I,
the strength with it, though.
Yeah, if I took a really sharp knife and I just kind of poked my skin with it, it wouldn't stab right through me. I'm saying that his hide is so durable, is so thick that like maybe it could get through if Superman were punching him with that kind of force. But if you take something sharp and poke through it, you have to have the force behind it to make that work.
Not if it's sharp enough. If it's sharp enough, I can do something very tiny on my skin.
You still have to have the pressure. You still have to have the pressure. Yes, but you're talking on the spectrum of human skin versus dark side.
I'm talking on the spectrum of the sharpness compared to what you're trying to pierce.
Yeah, there's lots of factors. There's the sharpness of it, there's the force that's being put behind it, and there's the durability of the skin. I'm arguing that the durability of the skin outweighs the sharpness because you don't have the power behind the sharpness to make it an impact. It would start to go through, and he would have to put so much force to actually drive it in that at that point, Darkseid was like, "Oh, this kid isn't kidding around. Okay, I just rip him in."
I mean, yeah, but once I said all of them combined with this team could beat Darkseid because you have Iceman feasibly trying to freeze him while this piercing is going on.
Just so much piercing.
And then there's Sinestro.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You win based on your team. My argument was Darkseid could be defeated by this team. That was. Why am I even arguing this? I'm the terrain here.
Because the battle was too lopsided.
Okay.
The only thing that could beat Darkseid is arguably an alien god queen that controls the weather. Arguably. She's still out there.
Suddenly from the nearby sea.
Still out there, by the way. She brought the sea with her.
Once again, that sequence with Longshot going, "I'm getting the fuck off Apocalypse and going to the next planet." He is your Ripley in this universe.
So what did we learn?
We need that franchise.
Class dismissed.
Hey, Colossus. Nice throw.
Simulation complete.
As usual, we end every episode with what's piquing our interest, or we just say what's piquing our interest. It does not matter that he is board operating. I'm still going to go to him first. Garrett, what's piquing your interest this week?
What's piquing my interest this week is, honestly, the Oscars. When I watched it, like a lot of them, I looked really interested, and I think I'm going to finally take time and watch all these movies. Moonlight caught my eye a lot with this year's awards and stuff, so I'm going to actually take some time and watch that.
Moonlight and La La Land I still want to see. I still have no desire really to see Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah.
I hear granted he won the award for our actor, but Affleck's good in it, but other than that, I heard there's no real story. So doesn't really do it for me. But I agree. I need to see something on him, I guess.
Yeah.
Sam, what's piquing your interest?
So two things. One, just because it just popped up. I don't know if it's yours, but so Shadow of War, which is the follow-up to Shadow of Mordor, the video game from Lord of the Rings using the Nemesis system. It's a really
Definitely
good game.
not mine.
It's essentially Assassin's Creed, but for Lord of the Rings. So Target, I believe it was Target, accidentally leaked the game yesterday. And
the whole game?
Not the whole game, but just hey, this is a game that exists, because they had it under wraps. And then today, after that leak, they're like, okay, fuck it, and they just released the trailer, and it comes out in 6 months. It's a really impressive turnaround, but the game looks good. I'm interested to see how it goes. I'm on board. Also, David Ayer just tweeted out a picture of Black Mask.
Ooh.
So maybe for Gotham City Sirens.
I would take that. That'd be very good.
I still don't know why they're fighting Black Mask.
Because why not?
Because they're villains.
But they have to. But why not?
Because of that.
They have their own agenda, though. To where Black Mask is like a mobster. Villains can fight villains.
Yeah.
You're only, the mob does not fight the mob. The mob fights other mobs. Gangs fight other gangs. It's not we all evil? All right, let's all join and take over this stuff. For power and whatnot.
I like the storylines when the mob groups together and is okay, we're killing all these freaks. I do like when that's a thing, but I'm not sure Black Mask is the one to lead them. It's okay, dude, but just take off the...
No, because he's crazy.
Just take off the mask, dude.
Or maybe they all were in Arkham together and they drove him insane, so he's got a personal vendetta against him.
Perchance.
Or he got rejected by all of them when he asked him for dates. There's plenty of motivation there.
Joe, what's piquing your interest besides what happened to Gold Balls?
No, more of like, what are those balls made out of?
No one knows.
So we always have kind of had this discussion. I think of these two shows as one way. Sam thinks of these as another. The age-old debate of the 90s television, Seinfeld or Friends.
It's not a debate.
Exactly. Sam's always going to say that Seinfeld is the best show.
It is.
We know tons of people that think that way. I know people that think the opposite way.
Idiots.
My personal thing has always been Seinfeld is 1A, Friends was 1B. It was the 90s of television. However, this is piquing my interest because this was brought to my attention via the internet on an article that was written almost 3 years ago. What if I told you that Seinfeld and Friends are actually in the same universe?
I wouldn't care. I'm just kidding. Tell me about it.
So you're familiar with the show Mad About You, correct?
Barely.
Barely.
Yeah.
But because all three of these shows were on NBC at the time during the 90s, and Mad About You was always the lowest one in the ratings with all of them, Mad About You had crossovers with just about every show. So Kramer was once on Mad About You as, I think he rented out Paul Reiser, the lead, I can't remember his name, but the lead man in Mad About You's apartment or whatever. And it is actually Kramer, and they even reference Jerry in the episode. Also in Mad About You, which is definitely a connected thing, Phoebe's sister is in the Mad About You universe and in the Friends show, and then Helen Hunt and a friend make a guest appearance in Friends, confusing Phoebe with her sister.
So confirmed.
So through all three, they are connected in the same universe. However, this is where it gets trippy. Seinfeld is consisted of the 4 worst people on the planet, essentially. Like,
Correct.
These are horrible, horrible people.
Correct.
Seinfeld, though, does, even though it already had a crossover with Mad About You, references Mad About You multiple times.
Like as a TV show?
Yes, there's an episode where George and Susan are watching Mad About You. There's also...
Meta.
Well, there's a theory that these 4 people are stuck in hell, doomed to repeat almost the same thing over and over and over again. Hence why the show ends with almost the same...
How it began.
Exactly how it began, talking about the same conversation. So they're just in a perpetual loop.
It's not a bad loop.
The people of Seinfeld or the people of Mad About You?
The people of Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Okay.
So Seinfeld is in theory a show about hell.
Sure. Cool. It's a good theory. I like it. I like it because it's talking more about Seinfeld than Friends.
Well,
You think this show's dumb?
no,
No.
not going to do it just yet. If you want to put 2 things together and see which one wins, you can listen to Movie Versus. That comes out every Thursday.
Nice. Good one.
So, do you know what they're doing this week or no?
Nope.
Nope. All right, well, you're just going to have to tune in and find out. However, that's going to do it for us this week. Next week, we're going to talk about and review Logan. We'll also come up with our own ending to superheroes and how did they go out. And no, Spider-Man doesn't move to Manhattan or Batman get hit by a car. I can't remember what your bad example was at the end of last week's episode. However, if you have your own example of how a superhero goes out, you can tell us, and there's many different ways to do so. You can email us at 3wiseradio@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at 3wiseradio / #3wiseradio. Find us on Instagram at 3wiseradio or on Facebook at 3wisemedia. That's going to do it for this week. We'll see you next.
3 Wise Radio is a production of 3 Wise Media. For more information, check us out on Facebook.